The active listening research body, there are folks out there from all the way from the 1950s that have been studying this stuff. And it's based on the work of a man named Carl Rogers, and he said that there's a double whammy when it comes to active listening. Not only do you benefit as a listener, because you're learning a lot of good stuff about your customers or whoever it is you're talking to, and that's really valuable, okay? But there's a reciprocal benefit for the person who's speaking. And think about the last time you had a really good conversation with someone who listened well. You felt better leaving that than you did with a conversation of the same topic of someone who wasn't listening as well. They might have been distracted, they didn't seem to get you, okay? So there's benefits for everybody involved. Your customers walk away feeling better just because you listened. Yeah, that's pretty powerful stuff. Okay, so basically he said that empathy and trust can be tied to good listening, and he gave us three things that have to be there for good active listening. Number one, you have to give unconditional attention. So you turn off your phone, you put it on the side, you put it under the table, you hide it from yourself if you're too weak not to take just a little peek. Okay? And I know social media and everything that comes through on our phones today, I mean, a few of you were talking about this, you deal with mobile apps and things. It's really addictive, isn't it? Okay? So sometimes we have to force ourselves to put it away. Okay? But at the same time, that unconditional attention is essential for them to feel that connection. Without it, if you're distracted, if your mind is elsewhere, they're never going to pay attention or never feel that connection to you. Number two is paraphrasing. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that in a moment, so just kind of write that down if you're taking notes, and then I'll get back to it. And number three is open-ended questions. And there's a purpose to those open-ended questions. It's not just a stack of them that you kind of drop on. So in 1994, there was a study in the Psychological Bulletin. You see, I like to do research and secondary stuff, that showed that people disclose more information to those they initially like. And then they tied liking and initially liking to really good listening skills. So there's a correlation here that they've been able to scientifically show that this stuff really works. So that paired with a 2010 report, and believe it or not, there's an International Journal of Listening out there. People write about this constantly. Every 2 months, a new journal comes out with new listening stuff. And it's not just based on folks who are losing hearing. It's on how well we all do what we're trying to do right now, okay? And that particular 2010 study showed that just engaging one technique, because studies always show, they study tiny micro things and then write a whole bunch about them, okay? But doing one simple technique in listening, and I'll get to exactly what that is in just a few minutes, can greatly enhance the amount of liking somebody has for you, the amount of affiliation and closeness they feel for you, and how connected they feel to you. One little thing, okay? Okay, so for now, just realize that you need people to like you in order to get them to open up, okay? So one more benefit. See, I can't stop with the research stuff. It's so interesting. Studies back as far as the 1970s, okay, so this is not stuff that they're just coming out with. This is stuff that they've built over the years. Showed that basically the more skilled you are as an active listener in accepting the speaker, okay, so you're listening very well, the more aware the speaker becomes of their own needs. Now think about that in a business context. I come up to you and I'm confused because you know your stuff and I don't, I kind of know I need somebody to do what you kind of do, okay? I know that my house is cold or hot or something ain't working and I just want to push that button on the thermostat and make it work, okay? And there's weird stuff coming out of my ducts all over the house or something like that. All problems I've experienced in my life. Okay, so this is true to life type stuff. Okay, so in a sales situation, I have a problem. The more I feel that you're listening to me, the more I'm aware of my own problems and the more open I become to listening to what you have to say back to me. It basically opens the mind up in the speaker who's saying, hey, I don't know what to do. My house is hot. My dog's not happy. My husband left. I mean, geez, all these things are going on in my life, and you're listening very intently. I suddenly am more aware of what the real problem is when you come with a solution, and it's going to align because you have that, you've been listening very well, okay? So when it aligns, I'm more open to hearing it, and I'm more likely to say, yes, do that, solve my problem, solve my chaos in my life, okay? So it's a double whammy of benefits there. All right, so how do you actively listen? What does it look like? What does it feel like? That kind of stuff. Because active listening is one of those catchphrases that is just, everybody says it. Be an active listener. That's right. Listen actively. Okay? I'm sitting. I'm listening. My ears are turned on. What do I do now? Okay? So in a few minutes, I'm going to give you a basic self-assessment, and you're welcome to copy it and use it for whatever your purposes are. But basically, it's going to give you an idea of how well you do some of these basic skills. But before that, let me give you some evidence so you can, score yourself and that kind of stuff. In 2007, they did a survey of over 2,000 listeners, and they said, what is the most important thing to make you feel connected? Okay? When you are speaking, what does it mean to have somebody really actively listen to you? And the number one thing was to give complete and focused attention. Okay? They want to feel like they are being heard. You don't do that, you've lost on every other level. And the scoring on that, on the actual survey, was over 75% of the folks said that. That's huge. Okay? Complete and focused attention. Okay? Don't be picking up the phone. Don't let me hear, if we're on the phone, you rustling with papers. Don't let me hear your keyboard in the background. Okay? All that background noise that we forget about because they can't see us sometimes if we're on the phone, oh, they're reading it. They're hearing it. They know what's happening in the background. Okay? I had a good friend that worked at a call center for a while, and nothing was more frustrating than someone would call in to get customer service, and they'd be in a car or they'd be walking through somewhere that was really crowded, and the customer service person could not hear what they were saying because of the background noise. And you'd say something to them, you know, would you mind finding somewhere where there's not trucks going by, you know, where I can hear what you're saying? They say, oh, no, I only have 10 minutes here. Solve my problem now. Okay. That person wasn't really listening. The customer service person is trying to listen. We can have a breakdown that we can't control. Most of us, though, can control our side of the situation. Okay? All right, so that was top. It seems logical, but it's really easy to forget. All of us do it. We multitask. Okay? The younger generations are even more heavily multitaskers than anything. When I'm in the classroom at Wake Forest, I have to actively tell them to close computer tops, to put phones away. Okay? I used to allow computers because I thought, oh, they're going to take notes. No, they're chatting on Facebook, and they're posting updates, and, you know, oh, my phone rang. Oh, this is important, you know. I'm in an 8 a.m. class. Oh, yeah, I can't pay attention to you. So if you've ever met somebody that's ignored that complete attention part, you're going to know how it feels to be on that side. All right, so the second thing is that they want you to not interrupt. That, again, sounds pretty basic, doesn't it? But people are terrible interrupters. And you can interrupt without saying a word. You can interrupt when I can tell that you're not paying attention to what I'm saying, and it looks like you're writing about something else. Okay? That doesn't mean that you're taking notes on what I'm saying. That's really respectful. But it's having that feeling that, your brain isn't here. You're thinking about what to say to me, how you're going to frame your solution while I'm still trying to explain to you my real problem. And by the way, I might not have gotten to it yet. Okay? Most people are not very efficient at explaining what's going on in their brains. All right, so I've got a close relative, will not name names, but this relative speaks over me. And what happens is I'll be speaking a sentence and they will try and finish it, but they'll finish it on top of me. So it's almost like an echo. Oh my goodness, guys. I've actually stopped talking to this person in some cases and walked away because it grates my, that's one of my little pet peeves, you know. Stop. It's my thought, not yours yet. Not your turn yet, and all of you have felt like that. So make sure that focused attention, that you really do give it and you don't interrupt, okay? So the third thing is to confirm and rephrase what you hear. So when it is your turn, especially in a customer-based situation, take your turn to confirm and get deeper on their side, not to suddenly go into, oh, and by the way, I have a million solutions for everything you just said, okay?